Welcome back. We are back. Episode number, goodness knows how many, 22 maybe, of the Think Rugby podcast. Which one is it? 21? Getting the heat of myself. Never mind. So, myself, Zaf Kelly, with my co-host Andy Moe. Well, what a weekend of rugby it was. I mean, lots and lots to talk about. Unexpected result, maybe other predictable results. I mean, it was probably the biggest game for Scotland in terms of, like, are we going to win it? And we'll discuss that later on in the episode. Before that, we'll crack on with, I guess we'll go in the order of the games. So we had Italy vs Wales, which was the first game on the Saturday. We had England hosting France. And then we had Scotland taking on Ireland at their own backyard at Scottish Gas Murrayfield. So, yeah, Scottish Gas Murrayfield. The same amount of times that they switched their names between BT Murrayfield, Scottish Gas Murrayfield. Like, I can't keep up. The same with like the Allianz Arena. I just feel like I should be calling it Twickenham, but never mind. So, Italy hosted Wales, the first game of the round 2 of the Six Nations. It was in Rome. What a lovely place to go visit. If you ever get the chance, please go to Rome. I've been before, maybe 4 or 5 years ago now, and I really enjoyed it myself. So I can vouch for it. It's a good weekend away, especially before the rugby. Especially if you're in the winning side. I mean, for the travellers, the Welsh travellers, I mean, I don't know what they were expecting when they came over. Italy very much are the banana skin team for, I mean, you could say anyone's a banana skin team for Wales now, but very much a bogey team for Wales is Italy at this current moment in time. That's back-to-back losses they've had with them. They've lost actually a good few times in the past 5 years. They've definitely lost more games than won. Italy, I mean, I'm kind of glad they weren't performing the way they did on Saturday against Scotland the week before, because I was a little bit nervous looking at that, thinking there is a team here, and there's always been a team, but wow, like they seem to like step up again. And I know it was Wales, maybe the pressure was off a little bit, but again, Italy know this could be the only chance to like proper putting a big statement against a team, going like the way other teams are going. Like they didn't manage against Scotland. They're like, okay, they've got Wales. Can't see them being Ireland, France, or England. Being perfectly honest, they might have a good run, especially now with some upsets happening the weekend as well. Might fancy the chances elsewhere. But going into the game, I really think they've got to target this game and focus on this. And boy, they didn't disappoint, especially in this first half when they took their chances with the kicks. They scored a really nice little trick play or try down the blind side from a scrum. It was just very well executed and I'm going to say it was a very Italian performance. They kept themselves in the game and put themselves into a healthy lead through penalty kicks, through forcing the other team to try compete for the ball. Padrello, tomato, he controlled the game incredibly well. I think he did one missed kick where it went out in the full, but other than that, his 50-22s are on, especially when Italy were up against it at times, not making much progress. He seemed to just put Wales on the back foot. And if you've got a scrum half that can do that, and you've got a 10 who can pull the strings like Garbisi, you're onto a winner there. And I mean, the size of the pack, the Italians, I mean, look at their bench. They've got like Lex Ross, Vincent, pretty sure that one of the Canone brothers on the bench as well. That's some quality players coming off the bench onto an already like kind of hurting Wales team. Tommy Allen off the boot, fantastic. I really like him playing at fullback. I mean, I don't know what you think of it, Andy, but it's starting to become a trend, just like having two fly halves in the pitch, one at 10, one at fullback. What do you kind of make of that?
There's a kind of recent trend that we're seeing at the moment. I mean, you obviously think to England, Marcus Smith was playing at 15 as well, and has done it in the past.
You've got France as well. I mean, Ramos can't play fly half, so you can. I know he's like natural fullback, but you can't play fly half as well. King on.
I suppose like it does make more sense to be playing. Obviously, not every single fly half is the same, but with the mix of England, Italy, and France, it makes more sense to put them at 15 rather than the likes of 12, which obviously some other fly halves can play very well. But certainly for the likes of Marcus Smith and Thomas Ramos, yeah, like 15 is a very good. If there's somebody else and tactically tweak it, Yeah, go for that.
The only team that doesn't really do it is, I mean, because even Scotland, they can't put King on there. I know he's now probably third choice if you start. I know you're shaking your head. I agree with you. He shouldn't be there, but he can do it if, like, for example, I mean, we'll go into Scotland game soon. If it's an emergency, just luckily Tom Jordan's now, like, is quite a natural flight half. But the only teams that don't really use that or can do that would be Ireland, because one, they probably don't need to because they've got Prendergast and Crowley, but also two would be Wales, because I mean they've not got the facilities for that, in my opinion. Not got the
Yeah, they've got no decent backs.
and I think they're starting to I think they're starting to fall behind. I mean, they're using like I really do apologise because but Liam Williams, he's a little bit not, I wouldn't say washed up, but he's definitely past his best. He's been away playing in Japan, maybe not at the highest elite level. Yeah, okay, it's still a very fast paced tempo, but there's far less games and it's a less kind of pressure on the body. So he's maybe got not complacent, but his body's more rested and he's not used to that harsh international environment again. And I don't know how.
No, but if anything though, with everything you've just said about going off to Japan, that should in theory make him like more refreshed and more rested to be playing like big international tests like the Six Nations. No,
I just don't think his body's used to it anymore because Japan is so less physical in comparison to any of the leagues. Like, I mean, yeah, it was very fast paced, but the physicality is just not there, and there's less games. So is his body up to the demand of that? I'm sure it is if he's getting picked. I mean, and if he's wanting to play as well, he must feel confident in himself. But he just seems a little bit out of place and just, I mean, a step behind in the. I mean, maybe a gear less than what he was last year. So, or last time he was playing for Wales. So, it's a difficult one to see for Wales. But there's one I can't really explain other than they were just shit. Tactically, I don't know what they're trying to achieve. I said this last week in Gatland. I mean, he's growing a beard. I don't know if that's through a trend or if he's because he can't be arsed shaving. But I think like Gatland's just absolute spent, and you just look. You can see him sitting there, and I'm not psychologist or any sort of body language expert, but he just looks so uninterested compared to any other coach there. And I think he's just getting his pretty pay packet and just seeing it out. He looks miserable.
yeah, I mean I think it's 2 resignations he's offered since the World Cup in France, and I think it's twice that the Welsh Rugby Union have backed him. The writing's on the wall. He'll be away at the end of the Six Nations. Who they get in to replace him, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
But I will be very, very surprised if they don't get rid of him. And there might be whatever rumblings or murmurs of the Welsh Rugby Union struggling to afford it. That'll just be a cop-out excuse if he stays. If he offers his resignation, he'll be away. If not, they'll get rid of him.
Yeah, it'd just be a lot of money to get rid of him. That's probably why they've not. And yeah, but that's the bottom line. But never mind. Just glad they ain't a Welshman. That's what I'm going to say. They weren't good. Italy, to be fair, they got a lead, and they managed okay towards the end. They got conceded the penalty try, but it didn't really matter. It was too little, too late. They comfortably won that game, and yeah, okay, it was against Wales, but again, they're building and building, and we're seeing this kind of trend of Italy are getting momentum, and I do hope they cause another upset. I don't want to mention speak about Wales too much, so I'm going to go into Italy and that. I'll mention again, Menoncello and Brex, unbelievable. They were really good against Scotland, but unbelievable again against Wales. Slightly less opposition, if you like to call it that. Not like most professional terms used there, but never mind. But
lesser quality.
Yeah, but yes, that's exactly it. So I'd love to see them up against the likes of England, like Ola Lovins, Henry Slade, see how they get on there. Again, I think that's probably going to be the team. Will be either England or France. We'll see how things go. But either England or France will be the team that Italy give a scare. I'm not saying beat, but give a scare. Yeah, just like they give Scotland a little scare. They were never in that Scotland game, but to give them a little bit of a scare. And I think they'll give England or France a big, big scare. Just like last year, they gave France a big scare. Yeah, did they draw that game last year? I think they did actually.
Against
France, Italy v France. Because Garbisi.
Yeah, through, and they should have won.
Yeah, because Garbisi, the ball fell off and when he replaced it and hit the post. I mean, fine margins. Like, I think, again, imagine that penalty went over last year. They were saying Italy beat Wales and France, which is quite impressive if you ask me. Being
Yeah.
perfectly honest, and beat Scotland as well. I always forget that. They also beat
Yeah,
Scotland.
we don't need don't need to be
Don't
reminded
need to
about
mention that. We made up for it last week anyway. But no, on the whole, Wales are cooked. Italy, I think if they finish fourth, I think that'll be a. I think they'd accept it. I think they'll be aiming for higher, like third, but I think they'd accept fourth and see it as still like the boy in charge. I forgot his name. Caseta.
Zolo Caseda.
High. He has done extraordinary things, and it's been building. Every single coach has seemed to improve Italy in some shape or form, whether it's the structure, whether it's fitness, staying in the game management. They seem to kind of get it right. They've managed to go from was it John O'Shea or the boy O'Shea who took over them. I think it was maybe Conor O'Shea took over them. It was a good like 5-6 years ago, but he then became director of rugby of Italian rugby, and from there he really focused on the grassroots and you can see what like the under 18s on the Twitters are like. He heavily funded or like made sure that the grassroots was funded, and it was all in the schools. And he would go and do coaching sessions with like the under 18s for Zebra and Benetton, and like see what was happening, like implement like their blueprint. And look, and from there they've reaped the rewards. They've had Michele Lammerville as captain for 4 or 5 years now. Lammerville was like 21, 22 when he became captain, and he was 26, and he's honestly one like almost touching a world class player. And the scary thing is, if Lammerville was out, they'd have no issue replacing him with either Canone or Ross Vincent, two extraordinary young guys again, absolute beasts of players. And you've got Negri, and who else have you got? Oh, you've got abundance of players. You've got in the second row, you've got Ruzza. In the front row, you've got Fischetti, Vicioli, I think his name is. You've got so many quality players, and that's not to mention you've got Pagliarello, who's really established scrum half now. I think he's nailed on like scrum half for Italy. You've got Paolo Garbisi, who, I mean, again, playing in France, I wouldn't say he's world class, but
There have a lot of extraordinarily talented backs. That's plain to see. They have a lot of quality in their backs.
Exactly. Menicello, Brex, Capuzzo, Ioane, I mean, he's hit or miss. But then you've got Tommy Allen that can go fullback as well. They're absolutely stacked, and they're just growing even more and more. And they've also got the boy Lina as well, who's no. And there's another boy that I can't remember his name. I think he's actually English, but he's got Italian heritage.
Lewis Lina.
No, not just Lina. There was another guy.
Varney.
Varney's another one. But that's what I mean. They've got so much depth. They've got crazy depth. They've got a boy. I think he used to play for Wasps, but never mind. I'll find his name another time. It's like Dogu or something like that. But that's what I mean. They're not even getting a sniff in. They don't need them. They don't need these quality players because like they've got such a strong squad. So I'm not nervous. I'm actually very excited to see how they get on against like England, France. Think kind of right off the Ireland game though, because Ireland just seem a bit formidable at the moment. But never mind. Okay. I've never seen this next game, so I'm going to let you kind of take the reins, and my annoying voice has probably been drilled into your head for the past 10 minutes. So, England vs France. Unfortunately, I did miss the game. I was actually travelling home from my game, and just I tried to watch it, and you know what? I was putting the TV on, and I fell asleep, and I woke up 10 seconds from the end, which was pretty annoying. So, I've not had a chance to watch it. But Andy has, so he'll quickly run you down on what went on.
So, England bet France, which meant that after the Italy-Wales game, I only made, 0 correct predictions for the whole weekend. I could just tell from very, very early on that France, they were still a side to be reckoned with. And maybe if you were English, you would be more nervous. But for me, I was just like, yeah, they'll probably get a couple of tries, but they are there for the taking. England kept within the game for so long, and yeah, I got to say they probably did deserve the victory. However, it's how consistent they're going to go. I did think Borthwick was a bit ballsy with his selection. As we said, Marcus Smith at 15, Finn Smith at 10. I mean, I'm one of the folk that think, no, you should really be playing Marcus Smith at 10, not 15 or 12, like I used to do with Farrell. I mean, it was ballsy by Steve Borthwick, and despite all the problems that England have, I mean, they're by no means the beast that they were even when Eddie Jones took over to begin with, but they seem to somehow, at least once a season, get a big result at home. Last year against Ireland, this year against France.
Yeah, it's a strange one, isn't it? Like, I never really thought like that, but no, I guess you're right. I never seen it coming, but then you look at the stats, and it was either the first half alone or through the whole game, but France had 20 handling errors, but I think it was 23 handling errors. I'm not even
It's
professional.
very un-France-like.
Very un-France. Like, if you do that in an amateur game, you'll be told as a team you played shit. Imagine 20 like handling errors. I know like some of knock-ons, maybe like spilling the tackle and that, but no. That is very, very unlike France. And then some of them were like semi-half chances, like in the execution just was not there. One in the first half was I think it was Ramos inside to Bielbieri. Yeah, okay, maybe we would have got caught, but it was a 1-on-1. He could have very, very decent chance of scoring, and he just couldn't even catch the ball before he even got a chance to try have a go at it at the line. But
It was the one.
very, very strange. Do you know what the funniest thing about it all is? Like, I woke up about, not 10 seconds from the end, it was like 2 minutes from the end. I woke up as Elliot Daly was getting the pass to run through and score the winner. And I was like, you can't be serious. So I've missed the whole game, and all I've seen is that bit. The bit that nobody that is non-English wants to see. But, I mean, fair play. Very ballsy putting Finn Smith at 10. I mean, he deserves it. You look at him at Northampton, his form at Northampton, incredible player, and he's young. You can build a team around him. Marcus Smith, I don't mind him at 15. You know that. I think again, it's hard for him going in to a position. It's like he doesn't really play at club level that much, or very little at all, and he's been popped in there just to kind of compensate. But I don't know if it's this kind of again new trend, having 2 10s on the pitch, one that can. Because Marcus Smith's defensive effort work is actually like very extremely underrated. His tackle technique and like just one-on-one tackling is insane. I think he just gets stuck in. He can just get down there. Yes, okay, he does get bumped off from time to time. He isn't the biggest of guys, but I definitely back him over Freddie Stewart. Because I think just Freddie Stewart's just too slow and lethargic to kind of like get into the position to do a one-on-one tackle. I think he's very easy to beat.
I'm not sure about that. I would back Freddie Stewart for the high ball rather, but I think after his performance against Ireland, I think Marcus Smith there was a lot of work put into his tackling, and you could see the difference between this past week against France and the week before against Ireland. Mm-hmm. Marcus Smith was far, far better, even if it was just slowing the guy down and scrag. He was far better at just getting in there, getting a hit rather than completely missing the tackle.
Yeah, that's all you was. I mean, it's an improvement. That's all you need sometimes. I get you. You'd be an idiot to disagree with the high ball situation. Freddie Stewart's 6'5". He can catch a high ball, but at the same time, it depends what kind of game plan you can kind of nullify that, especially with like kind of like the new rules. Like I know people like to go up and compete more, but you know something. I might be clean wrong, but from experience. Against France, Dupont doesn't really kick to compete sometimes. He more kicks for a range. I don't know if he's just like he's a very competent box kicker, but to get the height and have a good enough chase, I think like Marcus Smith actually did not too bad. From what I've seen, again, I don't watch the whole game, so from what I've seen, I'll watch it tonight and I'll be completely wrong. But from what I've seen in the past, like Marcus Smith can't handle himself under the high ball. He ain't too bad. It would have been a worry, like with this new rule, like you can't be a blocker. You've got to actively try and get out of the way. So you're not run in defence. So that is a factor as well. But I don't know. Did you think that was well implemented by either team? Was it much a tactic with having Marcus Smith back there a bit smaller? Were they trying to like target that? Or?
I don't know. I think France were just that off the boil. It wouldn't be fair, I would say, to completely judge like France's tactics with them being off the boil, because mentally I think they rocked up expecting to win no matter what, and I think really until the last quarter they were like, oh shit, we're in trouble here, we need to really try and just dig it out, but it was too late, and okay, they maybe had the lead into the last few minutes, but there was that ever-growing feeling with the crowd and watching it that England were going to come in and likely take the win.
Yeah. Oh, well, it makes things. You know what? It just leaves the Six Nations completely wide open for anyone, which is from a again neutral point of view, and I mean a podcast point of view, absolutely amazing. It means we can just really kind of get stuck into everything. But I'm fearing, which we've got to go into just now, is a third victim, like a third title in a row for the Irish, based off Saturday's game. I mean, there's a lot of mitigating factors to why the result was the way it was, and I actually feel it was actually a decent result from a Scottish perspective based off the situation. So let's go to and we'll speak about Scotland vs Ireland. Right. First question: were you content with the result given what happened? And we'll speak about what happened later, like legends, like after your answer. But given what happened and the situation of it all, were you content with an 18-32 loss?
No.
Okay. So, for context, I mean, many of you will know about this already, but for context, what was it, maybe 20-minute mark, 25-minute mark? Darcy Graham and Finn Russell had a little incident where I don't know what the hell happened, but they bumped into each other and they both were out of it. More so Darcy Graham as he got stretchered off.
Darcy Graham was completely like it was comical. Like, if you weren't a Scottish or Irish fan, and obviously it's not good to see two folk collide, especially with, oh fuck, what could have happened? But it was maybe comical in the sense of that could only ever happen to Scotland, with two very experienced players running into each other. And with the vibe of how the Irish came into the game, started very, very strongly. Scotland, a lot of handling errors, virtually no visits to the 22 until the half-hour mark.
Yeah.
It could only ever happen to Scotland. And that's, as funny as it is also incredibly tragic that it is only a Scottish thing that would ever happen.
We didn't blow our chance, but I mean, you're losing your best, your most dangerous playmaker and your most dangerous try scorer, most prolific try scorer. Well, I mean, you could argue on as well.
Off the cuff and like no man's land. You know, there's no like a spilled ball or whatever. Darcy Graham is your best player on the park for Scotland anyway.
100%, and he showed that against Italy. And yeah, it was very unfortunate. But you've also got to remember, we're also missing Tuipulotu. So that's, again, probably Scotland's best player.
Ireland were without Matt Hansen and also without Tag Furlong, so they had stuff to deal with as well.
Oh, so who did they have as a replacement? What? Finlay Bealham and blooming Calvin Nash. It's not exactly bad alternatives, is it?
Calvin Nash scored. Different alternatives as well.
Calvin Nash scored a try. He scored the first try. Look at Ireland's bench; it's unbelievable. Furlong's not been part of Ireland's team for God knows how long. He's not shit, but he's honestly I honestly would rather have Porter. Have Porter. I mean, have Kelleher starting, then Dan Sheehan off the bench, and then I'd have Finlay Bealham starting at tight head. I honestly would.
So you don't rate Tad Furlong then?
He's not been part of Ireland for about over a year. He's been out injured. It's going to take him a long time to get back up to international standard. I honestly being honest. I'd much rather have Finlay Bealham starting. But if I was Irish, have him starting because he's been in that environment, and I think it might take a while for Furlong to proper get back into the proper swing of things. Honestly, I don't think Furlong's a brilliant rugby player. Don't get me wrong, but everybody still thinks that we're back in 2019 when he was on world class form. We're not. He's a lot older now, and again, injuries when you get older play a huge factor in how well you get to bounce back. So I honestly think just now Bealham's more of a threat than Tadhg Furlong, even though Tadhg Furlong's a brilliant player, and I dare say he would he would definitely cook our Scottish scrum. But I think just generally Finlay Bealham deserves a spot. He's been there, he's been available, and the best player is the available player.
Well, I disagree with that. I would say that form is temporary, but class is permanent.
I tell you what, I say disagree. The best player is an unavailable player. I was hold on, where are you going with this? But
if he's available,
That's the thing. Look, he is a class player, and I always have those tricks in the book. But again, injuries, age play a massive, massive factor with it.
Moving on, there's far more dog shit to unload about this game, Zav, than just who was playing tight head for Ireland.
Huge, makes a huge difference. But I think, you know what, Sander Ferguson, I think he like generally held their own. Like, I mean, Scotland again they were completely up against it a lot of the game. You said before that Ireland just like never let up. Like, they just kept firing shots, and it just seemed like Scotland couldn't deal with it. There was one moment where they did, where there was a line out, there was a driving maul, and Scotland managed to hold it up on the line, which was like, I felt was like it switched the dynamic and kind of changed the game a little bit from there. I think it was just before half time. And Scotland ended up scoring just before half time. Like, it was a big, big moment. If Ireland scored there, that was it. Done. Completely done.
Scotland were only in the game at half time because they had kept it to 17. And yes, although I think at 17-0 with half an hour gone, nobody really expected Scotland to win in that stadium. But to a degree, I'd be like, yeah, that's fair enough. You know, time's gone by, Scotland would have completely imploded by then.
Yes.
And the score would have been far worse. But my biggest bugbear, besides from how entirely predictable this result was, even though I thought and was optimistic last week that we could do something, we get a try right in half time. I think it's our first visit to the 22 or something, maybe the second. Van der Merwe gets a try. It's like, yes, great. We're beginning to build something here. We'll come out in the second half, and we're all guns blazing. We get a couple of penalties in their 22. What do? We kick for points. Rather than trying to go for tries off of line-out mauls, which we've seen it in the autumn, and throughout the game, Ireland's line-out has been piss poor recently. You go for tries, you effectively attack the scoreboard that way, and I don't care what anybody says, conceding a try is far more mentally impactful than conceding 3 points from 2 penalties. And then Ireland go get their third try, and I'm like, it's only a matter of time before they get the bonus point try. They get that, and with 20 minutes to go, the game was over. There was nothing.
One that struck me mainly, I can understand why they went for the post. There's literally 5 metre or 10 metres out right in front. I can understand it. But for me, when you're right in front of the posts, just like 5 metres out, why would you not set for a scrum? Because then you have to split the park, and the Ireland have to split their defence in the backs. And that's one of the hardest things to try and defend, especially with the 15 on 15. So I was really confused why we never did that, because it's so hard to defend. It just leaves you like scrambling a lot to get a last ditch tackle. And if you miss a beat in defence there, then the chances like the other team scoring is quite high. So that's one moment where I thought, because again the scrum was kind of holding like relatively well.
I don't know. I think the referee was a bit unpredictable with the scrum, and then I'm also basing like Scotland with Glasgow's form. Even Edinburgh, they get a few tries off the line out, and I mean, as I say, the line out. Regardless though, going for the 3 points both times was a terrible decision by management.
But the thing is, okay, I'll agree with you for one of them, but the other one, it was literally right in front of the post. Like, it would have been silly probably the moment it was like the 47th minute or something. Like, but I'm not disagreeing with you in the sense, like, yes, maybe the other time when if it was a bit closer and we knew how to get like more points or tries, yeah, okay, go for the corner. But to get like a little bit closer, because we only had like 5 points at that point, it probably was the most sensible thing to do. I do get what you're saying. Speaking with the referee, what do you think of the decision when Henshaw knocked it on in the tackle? When Scotland were very, very, very close and Ireland were very up against it. I think it was in the first half, I believe. Could have been the second half.
I think it was very fortunate, but equally, I thought Scotland were very fortunate not to concede a penalty try when Van der Merwe got sin-binned. That could easily have been a penalty try.
I guess so. I guess it works both ways, I guess. It was kind of funny though, because I was listening to commentary and Nigel Owens, he was like commentating and he said oh yeah, he said, I don't think that's a natural position. When Henshaw was trying to tackle, since he stuck his arm out, it's not a natural position. And the referee and TMO gave the exact opposite. And I was like, oh great, because Nigel usually does like the after game. See when there's like controversial decision, he like explains it and breaks it down. I think it's almost to kind of like calm things down. You watch the YouTube video, it's on his YouTube channel, so it's getting really hard for him to now explain that. Seeing how live on live replay, he said, "Yeah, that's not a deliberate knockout." So we'll see how he gets out of that one. But I guess with the Van der Merwe one, I don't know why he even touched him, because I think the ball was going to go out. Like the referees thought that as well. So why did he even try to touch it? It was so stupid.
I think it was maybe the fact that defensively, Van der Merwe is such a liability. He'd already been exposed for the first try. I think it was just a case of, oh shit, I'm at fault again. Let's just make sure it doesn't happen and just take the gamble. I think that was a big part of why
Yeah.
he.
Why did it? But it's ridiculous because like even if Cavendish did dot that try to score down, they're still about 7 metres from the sideline. So instead of conceding, like he was very lucky it was just a penalty and yellow card, but instead of conceding 7 in a potential penalty try, could have just potentially conceded 5. And again, it was early on in the game, so the grand scheme of things,
that's fair enough. Yeah, that's fair enough. But equally, at this elite level, you should be in the like Van der Merwe should have been defensively in the right place to ensure that it didn't happen, and he wasn't. Again,
no, he wasn't exactly. He wasn't, and it just shows his flaw. But you don't try like mask it at the expense of your own team. I think it's awful. I honestly like defense. It's a massive issue having Van der Merwe in defence. Like again, he'll go score a world class try, world class finish. IOK's against Prendergast from the wing, but he's got that in his like locker. When is he going to learn? Like, is he ever going to learn about defence? Is he getting extra training with his defence? He's in his 30s now, just about 30. I mean, he's getting off in terms of a winger. Is he ever going to adapt his game? I thought he would have by now, but it just doesn't seem capable and competent to. It's really annoying, and that's where I like Kyle Steyn, although he's injured, he wouldn't make those kind of mistakes. And either with Darcy Graham, that defensively they're actually really sound, a lot more reliable, that's for sure.
But equally, we've seen the other side of it. Van der Merwe got that try. I struggle to see how either Steyn or Graham would have made that try.
No, I agree. Possibly Darcy Graham with footwork, but yeah, Steyn, I guess you're right. He's a bit more kind of like just conservative in that kind of aspect. But again, he's a very consistent player, and it's a hard one. It's a very hard one. What do? You prioritise scoring tries or prioritise potentially conceding tries? It's catch-22 if you ask me, and it's not a very nice catch-22. But never mind. Russell, big blow. Hopefully he's not out for next. Well, we've got a break, so hopefully it's a long enough period that he gets to rest and clears his head injury assessment. It was a bit of a worry when he never got back on, but I think he'll just be up for a few days to a week. He'll be back in training in preparation for. I'm not sure that Scotland shall have next round, but he should be back.
We've got England away.
England away, big
one,
huge one, huge. Hopefully we'll have a full strength squad for that. Have no injuries. We've got a week to rest and recover. I mean, goodness knows what we'll do with ourselves next weekend with no rugby going on, but I'm sure we'll find something to do. Twiddle our thumbs for 2 days maybe. But yeah, it's been a good week of rugby in terms of like the drama and in terms of the drama and I guess a bit of controversy and just to kind of like what just as a neutral point of view how it actually went. Like I say, it opens the Six Nations completely up to anyone apart from Wales, but it completely opens it up and it makes it so interesting. What do you say?
I was going to say, as a final question for this podcast, has the Scottish support majority run out of patience with Gregor Townsend after this weekend? Because I would say a couple of years ago, like the 2023 Six Nations was such a like a lot of folk on the fence. I think it's his last whatever season under contract. Yeah, fair enough.
Mm-hmm.
But then he got awarded another 3-year extension to 2026. He's on $400k a year. But I don't know. There's a lot of eyebrows being raised after the 11th straight defeat to Ireland at the weekend.
I guess to see real success, I mean, not just win the competition, but I know for a fact maybe Jackson wasn't impressed. See when he put out his tweet. I know for a fact there was another kind of journalist, he put out how Gregor Townsend's progressed Scotland in the Six Nations and World Cup. We've been grouped twice with Gregor Townsend in charge. And yes, okay, we had tough groups, but we've been grouped twice. The highest we've finished is third, and we've also finished fourth and fifth. Fifth once and fourth twice, I think, and third maybe 3-4 times. So, Mark made mind up, but I'm going to say they've not run out of patience because Scotland's still living in hope. But it's about time they kind of
the delusional hope. We won't.
Very delusional hope. Very, very Scottish delusional hope. But I think they're slowly starting to realise that
we were right.
We were right. Townsend isn't the man for the job. You always get the ones that like Arsenal and everything, and will back him and say there is progression. But look, it's a performance-based business. If you don't get what does third get you? What, a bronze medal? Well done. Like, I mean, it's great, but you can't get that year after year after year. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I think we should speak about Townsend more in depth next week. So stay tuned for that.
I guess we could. You know what, Andy? We've got a week to spare before Six Nations, so we can really dig down into it. But as you can see, we're not very happy about it. But especially more of Andy. I can't wait for you to see the thumbnail. I love the thumbnail. Absolute quality. Anyway, so that's all from me. Is that all from you, Andy, before we shoot off?
Yeah, folks, just make sure to check all our links in the description. Hit that subscribe button.
Yep. Subscribe on YouTube. Follow us on Twitter or X at Andy Mote, and also Think Rugby Podcast, and also on TikTok at Think Rugby. And also Andy's got his TikTok where he posts some very fruity content. So nice one. Okay. That's all from me. Thank you very much, guys. Stay tuned, and also Think Rugby.
Cheerio.